Hello, everybody. This is Richie, and I'm here with Sven. And also, this time we have a special guest, CEO and co-founder of KindHumans, Justin Wilkenfeld. Hi, Justin.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Thanks for joining us. So we wanted to first start discussing a little bit about KindHumans. For the people that don't know, KindHumans is an ethical store. But can you maybe explain a little bit about KindHumans and what's the idea of it, the core values?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so my wife Susie and I started KindHumans about 3 years ago, and really kind of developing the vision for the business and the brand. And it started sort of innocently with me trying to find ways to help nonprofits with marketing after a successful career at GoPro. So I was the fourth employee at GoPro, and was along for the ride all the way through an successful IPO, and just really experienced a lot of different things, wearing a lot of different hats, being in a startup environment, and then going from 4 employees to 1,600 employees. The IPO doing over $1 billion in revenue. Prior to GoPro, I was involved at TD Ameritrade, and I was a licensed stockbroker, and spent about 7 years in that industry. So I have a pretty kind of weird career path. But when I joined GoPro, I started off building the customer service department. But within a year, I was running our trade shows and events, and working with athletes and event organizers to help build a marketing program for GoPro. And so over about 10 years, I really focused most of my energy on marketing. Fast forward to towards the end of my GoPro career, my wife and I, got together and started our family. And she started to really research products, and we had some allergy issues with our children early on, and that sort of opened up our eyes to toxicity in products, which then sort of started to turn into sustainability and really being more conscientious about the products that we were consuming and what we put in and on our bodies, and from sunscreens to the food we eat, and really thinking more about ingredients, sourcing, and things of that nature. And so my wife became sort of an expert in the space, and she would get friends and family asking her a lot of questions about it. And so I kept telling her she needs to make a website or at least a blog, so that, she didn't have to keep sharing these stories over and over and over, and that she could just start to send the links out. And so, KindHumans started really with this kind of hybrid of me wanting to do philanthropic things and give back after the success of GoPro, combined with my wife's efforts to find more, sustainable and less toxic or non-toxic solutions for daily life. And the name itself came about because we met with some new neighbors when we were moving back to Southern California from San Francisco area. And we were all talking about schools and kids and where they should go to school. And, our kids were 4 and 6 at the time, so very young. And there were a lot of strong opinions about where the kids should go. And, in our minds, we were like, well, I just hope the school is clean, fun, that they're learning and engaged and happy, like it's not that serious yet. And so we came home, and Susie said, I don't care if our kids are the smartest, the fastest, that they win everything. I just hope that they're kind humans. And so I had been thinking of a name for my LLC to start consulting work, and it was like, ding, the light bulb went off. I looked it up. The website, kindhumans.com, as well as kindhumans.org, were both available. which was weird in 2000.
That's a sign.
Yeah. So I was
Very
like,
clear.
let's go. And then I started to go on my vision quest to really kind of define the vision of KindHumans. But the goal is really to cultivate a culture of kindness first and foremost, because I think if you use kindness as a filter for how you treat others, how you treat yourself, how we treat our planet, how we decide to run our businesses, and it's a great filter that's fairly universal. And then we want to promote conscious consumption and really be more conscious consumers. And then we want to always give back to causes that are helping to improve the state of the world around us. So that's really the basis of what KindHumans is. So we decided to build a marketplace for good, as we like to call it. And we focus on curating, non-toxic, sustainable products, and really trying to make it easier for consumers, because in this day and age, with the amount of information that's in the world, it can be really challenging to do the research. So you have to have a lot of time. And so we're helping to, streamline that effort and become a trusted resource so that people can, know that they can trust the products that they purchase through our site. And then also that every purchase has a 3% or more give back to nonprofit causes to help kids, the planet, and then, humanitarian aid efforts.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a very cool effort, or how you explain it, how it meets to pain points or to necessities of different niches. First, you have the stores that kind of need the visibility, and then you were helping them reaching that visibility and reaching their audience. And then in the other hand, there's the audience that they have so many noise, so many products in their faces that they don't know which one to choose. So you're like helping also curating those.
Exactly. Yeah, and my background in marketing, and my wife was doing sales and marketing for live events. So trying to leverage that experience and that knowledge of brand building and grassroots marketing, as well as high level marketing efforts with influencers and celebrities and whatnot, and using those as levers to help amplify what we see as a growing movement of KindHumans, is what we like to call it, because I think there are a lot of people trying to do good things for the world and for others, and there's a lack of marketing behind those efforts quite often, especially in the nonprofit space. So we feel like we can use our backgrounds and our networks to help amplify those efforts and hopefully help push it into more of our mainstream global culture. That's our real big goal.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah. Then maybe just a short note of how then actually Nimik and KindHumans met, right? Because you were the first ever online system shop situation that added Nimik as a payment method, or used the Nimik checkout for a payment, like really very progressive and up to the challenge of being the first one to try it out. How does this fit to your vision?
Yeah, I mean, I think such a big part of our vision includes transparency. And, I guess to back up, one of the cool parts of how we built GoPro, as well as how we're building KindHumans, is that we engage with friends. And through our network of friends, we have been meeting some amazing people that are working on some amazing projects. And so Martin Gloria, who's based in Santa Teresa, Costa Rica, with Nimiq, is friends with Elian Chin, one of your founders. And basically that connection unlocked this idea. And I think that for us, we see businesses that are, B corporations and, trying to do things like 1% for the planet, climate neutral companies are at the forefront of the change that we think needs to happen in the world. And that we need to move beyond these big conglomerates, these big corporations that have been dominating and monopolizing global society, really. And so I think there's a lot of parallels and alignment with what Nimiq and what the kind of crypto currency movement is intending to do, which is to disrupt the status quo and to empower consumers to be able to take better control or more control over the choices that they make in their lives with greater transparency. And so, you know, we focus on businesses with greater transparency. And I think that the whole fundamental basis of the currency with blockchain is transparency, and that these records get locked and are just can't be manipulated like so many other things have been these days, you know, leading up to these days. And so it just made sense to combine our efforts and to offer that checkout process for your audience to be able to, you know, select these types of products, which are better for themselves, better for the planet. And then conversely, you know, and this, we have work to do on this, but we need to also market what Nimiq is doing, because I think that the fact that you guys not only have the transparency built into the whole protocol, the fact that it's browser based is huge. I love that innovation that you guys have developed. And then just the fact that you have a give back built into your efforts, and
That's
that
right.
you have carved out a percentage of your overall currency to give back to nonprofit causes. So there's just a really great alignment between our two companies, I think, for that reason.
Yeah, even one more alignment is that also we are doing transparency reports as much as KindHumans are doing it. We are preparing one right now. I think it might come out in a month or so. It's always a lot of effort, but we just starting kicking off the process again. And so do you as well. And you also want to use as a next form of collaboration, the blockchain to fingerprint your transparency reports, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like one of the things that we have, the first thing that we worked on with KindHumans is the crypto checkout. It's of course enabled in KindHumans. So I'm going to make a pause here to invite everybody, go to kindhumans.com and try it out if you're in the US, because it works in the US, right?
Yeah, it works in the US. We do ship some international now. We're looking to expand on that. But I'll be honest, in the long run, I'd love to be more decentralized and to find more local solutions in other parts of the world instead of trying to ship things all over the planet. I think it's so much better and healthier to find those solutions and really build community around these pockets of KindHumans and businesses that are trying to be that force for good. That to me is the future, is more of a localized experience. But yeah, I mean, in the meantime, you know, we are working together with Nimiq on our transparency reporting, and to be able to just kind of, I guess, create a new way of doing business, and to know that level of transparency and sharing positive impacts that we're making as a business, and locking it in. So that's, right. As Elion often says, it's the immutable information, you know, it's that's just there, and it's locked in, the fingerprint is there, and it can't be changed or manipulated. And we're excited to kind of help be at the forefront of promoting that type of transparency in business, because I think that is such an underlying problem in the business of sales and marketing these days, is that there's so much hidden agendas that are driven by pure profit. And you know, that's something that I think we need to help tear down, to be frank. So I think nice. You guys are leading the way on that, and we're along for the ride with you.
Yeah, I think timestamping is not timestamping, it's more like fingerprinting documents is also one of the features that many people don't really know about crypto. Right, I mean, coins and all the things everybody's talking about it, but there's just so much things a blockchain can do. And just knowing that there is a track record or a fingerprint of your document that is sitting on a blockchain, and we all know, maybe we all not necessarily know how difficult it is to kind of interrupt the blockchain, but if you dive deeper and you learn how blockchains work, the foundation of it is that it's an immutable record. We try to make it as hard as possible. So once you have such a record that is almost impossible to change, you can use it actually for different things, like documents. That this is basically a feature that has not existed before. You would need a trusted source or authority, somebody who says like, yes, like a patent, I received this. But now just taking a document, basically compressing it to a few bytes and bits and putting this on the blockchain, it will have a date. And I mean, this is valid. I think it would even be valid in front of a court if you could say like, here, this is the fingerprint. I have the document. I can prove that they fit. Nobody could tamper with that. And it's quite a powerful tool.
Because the whole ecosystem knows if it's being tampered with, essentially, right?
Yes. Like we would have bigger problems than the transparency report if somebody could have tampered with that. Yeah, exactly. That's the point there.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I mean, then maybe this is a good moment to keep moving on also.
Yeah, I mean, something that we've touched in this discussion is the DNA of KindHumans and how also that aligns with the DNA of Nimik, of this idea of having a business model that also gives back, and not even like thinking of it as a business, also of a way of helping humanity, because we are both in spaces where there is a lot of maybe for-profit kind of mentality or only for-profit mentality. Cryptocurrency space is a space where a lot of people think gains and how much money am I going to make from this, not really what or who am I helping with this. It's also with e-commerce, I guess, is another side that or area where this is a problem.
Even with collecting donations, I guess, right? If you want to do something good, like scams. I mean, in crypto, it's a huge thing, but even with collecting or trying to do the right thing, there you're competing not only with the world as it is, but you're also competing with others to try to make a quick buck and pretending to actually be the real deal. I think those things are much more similar.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it with the Bitcoin craze, and I mean, just it became a commodity to trade and to try to make profit off of the trading of the currency, as opposed to utilizing the currency as a currency. Like, I mean, that's what's so bizarre, it really, with the progression of how it's developed recently. And then I think there's just, and I saw this when I worked in the finance world, media hype and the marketing of certain attributes of things can be an overwhelming force, right? And it can totally take away from the why, and I believe that's kind of what I've been seeing as a novice crypto person. I think that I can see that, there's been some market manipulation, if you will, and momentum built around the hype, and that it's more about how can I make money off of it as a commodity, rather than really looking at the basis of it and why it was created in the first place, and why it's disruptive. And I think it's pretty interesting and cool about where you guys are coming from, because I mean, I know some of your team directly, and I understand the intentions are much different than I think what a lot of the intentions are for people that have kind of jumped on the bandwagon of crypto. It's like, oh, I trade crypto, and it's like, well, wait, that's not why it was built. So I think it's been been perverted a little bit, but at the same time, it's also put it on the map, right? It's also gained much more awareness and attention, and I struggle with that as a marketer. I see opportunities to sort of level up the conversation and to reach more people in mainstream, through mainstream channels, which in the long run, I think is helpful. But I think it's also critical to educate people, myself included. I could definitely use more education on how to best utilize cryptocurrency and integrate it more into my daily lifestyle. And I think that's something that I look forward to being able to work on with your team, to find ways to really spread the message and integrate it more. I mean, it's currently a small percentage of our overall checkout process, Definitely hoping that more of your audience is going to learn more about KindHumans. But then at the same time, I hope that we can, let our community know more and educate them more on Nimik and cryptocurrency, so that they can start to integrate that into their lives, because I do think that is part of the future, where we all need to go as humans. I mean, I think that decentralization and really taking away those central authorities that have so much control and they can just print money at will. And I mean, there's so many bad parts of how the system currently works that I think crypto will help solve some of those problems.
Nice. I think
talking about that, going in that direction, do you remember how was your first crypto experience when you started? What do you think about it, or how was it?
I do. I remember getting my login on Nimiq and this whole browser-based like setup and my passwords. I'm like, man, where do I keep this? Like, this very like complex like setup to just get in, which is great. But at the same time, it's just different and new. And it was a little bit uncomfortable, I'll be honest. But at the same time, I think that it's really awesome. And the fact that it is browser-based, it seems like a very elegant system that you guys have built, that does really empower me as a user and as a consumer to take ownership of my own assets in that sense, and not be so reliant on those central authorities, which, things can go really sideways. I feel like, especially, you see what's been going on with the banking in the US over the last, 10 to 20 years. It's fraught with problems. And so, I'm still learning. I still have much to learn about crypto. I have, need to integrate it more into my life. But I really did enjoy that first experience, and it was a little scary, like I said, but it also felt good, that it is part of the change that I hope to see happen across the board. And I think it's across so many industries. We're focused on e-commerce, and I think conscious consumption is such a huge aspect of how we can help sort of course correct humanity, is to be more conscientious about the products that we consume. But I think it covers every topic. I mean, every industry that has big in front of it, to me, is problematic. And so I think that, I'm excited to see where we can take this and how we can really help expand on what it is that you guys are building and how that interacts with the e-commerce experience, because I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah. I mean, for us, the next big thing that we are working on, of course, Oasis has already been launched, but we want to integrate the whole checkout procedure more and more. Ideally, a shop will be able to receive crypto, and a back process on the backside will convert it automatically to any currency, fiat currency the shop owner is willing to receive. For KindHumans, the first implementation was you receive the crypto directly, and then you take care of it, or do whatever you want to do with it, which is, of course, an interesting use case. But there's a lot of shop owners that say, okay, I have to pay all my bills in fiat, like, it's all nice and stuff. I want to maybe keep some, but not all of it. So all this integration part, that this is all happening, and it's an ongoing process, and we're rolling it out this year. It's still going to be more things to come. And I think it's also an interesting topic, right? When it comes to crypto and regulation and compliance, we have seen a lot of things in the news lately, and also a lot of negative news, I would say. And for us, it's very important to stay on the white side of things, I would say, to say, like with KindHumans, to get the good stuff to the people, and of course being agnostic to say, okay, there's no hardliners necessary here, being fully crypto only and ignoring the rest won't work. So integration with banks, getting this process smooth for businesses or for organizations to integrate. I think this is going to make all the difference when it comes to crypto.
Yeah, we're reaching a point where cryptocurrencies are getting more and more adopted. And in the US, for example, there have been a lot of news about Congress discussing legislation on cryptocurrencies, how they're going to do it. And it is a new technology that I understand is difficult to regulate in a way, but also cannot stop it, cannot stop the progress.
Yeah.
And
So
understand that there is benefit for humanity in this. There's not only money.
Behind. Oh, sorry.
No,
I was
go
going to
ahead.
say the governments are so far behind. Like I feel like the people that work in politics are not the people that understand the technology. And so it's sort of a challenging uphill climb. And then I mean in the US, and I'm sure it's similar in other countries, but maybe not quite as extreme, but the lobbying power of big industries, including big banks, they're writing the checks for the politicians quite often, and they're influencing their behavior because they don't want to piss off the people. They don't want to bite the hand that feeds them, so to speak. So I think that's like an uphill battle that we all face, but I agree with you that the momentum is there, and it exists, right? Like crypto exists, and there's no stopping it at this point. It's just going to be a matter of, I think, really educating and infiltrating the political landscape of the policymakers to be able to have the right advocates, on your side that are going to help define those policies. And I'm curious, I mean, where do you guys see that going right now? I mean, what's that landscape look like?
I think there's so many parallel streams there, I would say. Like on one hand, of course, there is projects that are active in consortiums. I mean, for example, Nimik joined a consortium in Europe to be actively take part in suggesting to the European government, if you want, when there's questions about crypto, what could be done. So there's organizations like that, right, where you influence directly. I think honestly also a lot of influence is in just getting the thing out there and make it usable for normal people and make it meaningful. Like we're trying to do this by bringing crypto into normal shops that you can use it on an everyday situation, because many people ask like, so what can I do with it? And when you come with Bitcoin or with some cryptos, you're like, yeah, theoretically you could pay, but then realistically it's not really possible because either it's too slow or too expensive. And so I feel making it a reality is one part of it, because once it's there, you can't put that genie back into the bottle. It's like, it's not going to happen. And the other side is also to try to inform as much as possible policymakers about there is no point that you will be able to prevent this from happening. I mean, everybody who understands crypto knows that anybody can put a node in the internet. It's not us doing it. It's like there's a whole community of thousands of people that run servers worldwide, and we don't even know them, right? So this is never going to disappear. You can't just forbid blockchain. It's not going to work. So it's more, I think, we have to get together and see, okay, this is cool technology. We can also, I mean, if you look at what blockchain can do also for decentralized organizations, for making those kind of governance processes smoother, we could do voting that is connected to cryptography processes. There's a lot of good things. I mean, fighting is not gonna do much there. So that's, I think, what I see, that by doing good things and showing things that are actually useful, trying to get a little bit away from all this, what we call in crypto FUD, right, of fear, uncertainty, and doubt that is thrown at the crypto scene, say, oh, it's only criminals, and say, no, like, right. Yes, like
the dark
stuff that's not all.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I mean, I think. Yeah, I think a lot about how we carve out the niche. It's like I almost think it's like building a digital art, in many ways. And how do we create a digital arc where we pull the good things onto the boat? And I think really to focus that energy and to create that positive reinforcement of the good behavior, right? And to really try to show people the way and illuminate the good things that are happening and why. And I think change is scary for humans in general. I think people struggle with change, and the status quo is much easier and feels comfortable, like, but that's, how we evolve, and that's how we progress as a species, is to embrace the change and to really focus on what is working and what is doing good. And I think that's what's so special about what both of our companies are trying to do, is to really focus energy on the good things and the positive aspects of it. But it's a big job of marketing, to really push it to the mainstream culture. And I think that's really, what I feel like my charge is on some level, and my team. A lot of us are marketers, and have grown brands like Red Bull or GoPro, and helped to build global presence around those businesses and those products. But I think what KindHumans is trying to do is to look at the whole genre, and to really promote an entire genre of products. And it's not about the individual products so much as it's just the whole set of businesses. And that's sort of part of the long-term goal, is to see how big we can make our marketplace. And I have aspirations of being sort of a new rainforest, if you will, and like a new version of like an Amazon, where we reach a new audience, or grow a big audience rather, and then create that space and that hub for that community that really does want to purchase more intentionally. And I think that's like a great opportunity for us to really combine our efforts around that offering.
Yeah, well said. So it has been very interesting. I think we learned a lot about the behind the scenes of KindHumans, and also for our community. I think this is really interesting. Again, I would like to invite everybody to go and use not only NIM, but you can also use BTC and Ethereum to buy conscious products curated by the people at KindHumans. And before we go, I would like to ask you, do you have any leaks, any interesting information to share with us about the future of KindHumans?
Yeah, I think we're really looking to develop, we want to develop an app. I have to say that's one of our more exciting things, is to really build the home for the community of KindHumans. So we're looking to really develop that. And then, we want to continue to drive awareness for the movement, and to really help amplify it, and working with celebrities and influencers to help tell these stories. And I think that it would be great to collaborate with you guys to find ways to find partners that want to help tell these stories. And we really are excited to work with other brands. I'm wearing one of our collaborations for Cause shirts. So we do like artist collaborations where the product supports a nonprofit cause, and we'll typically give higher percentages back, like 20-30% versus our standard 3%. But these are just fun. It's to create a new product that's fun, that's a collaboration that has a specific give back, is something that's just enjoyable, and it just it's like we can be creative. And I think that's something that I'm just really kind of fascinated by, is that we've had companies like Melon, for example, they're selling a hat that says "Kindness, pass it on" right now. And, they made the hat, they basically licensed our branding, and they just love the message. We've had a wine company, Knocking Point Wines, go and make "Kindness, pass it on" wine, or we called it Kindness Wine. And so you have these other entities wanting to kind of join the movement and to spread the message of kindness. And as I mentioned earlier, I think of it as a filter for how we do things. And I think that if we treat others that way, we treat our businesses that way, that's hopefully a cultural shift that we can help really initiate and expand on. And I think that having an app and a space for this community to come together is going to be an important step in really bringing that together and galvanizing it in a great way. And I look forward to continuing to work with Nimik on how we can explore, the use of blockchain, not just for impact reporting, but also NIM as a currency that our users can leverage to help, keep that change and evolution moving forward.
Cool. We are also building an app. Now we're also trying to have a native app for our wallets, which makes it even easier to use. Most likely we'll also make libraries that you can then use in your wallet, in your app, in your shop app, that you can have the payment done in a native app as well. So all those things are also on our roadmap. And it's always nice for us to have you as a very curious partner that also likes to try out things when it's not barely beta yet. So, and now we work closely together. So it's been really, really good.
Yeah, love it.
So same, looking forward to continue our collaboration, and thanks a lot for the time, Justin.
Yeah,
it has been very enlightening.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. Yeah, then bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Everybody, cheers.
Okay,
Cheers.